Well, so let's do the discussions. And the chairman of the Electoral Commission has called on Parliament to amend the law regulating elections in Ghana to address what he says challenges with the current process of elections convened in Ghana. The EC chairman, Dr. Kwejo Afarijan, according to information available to Joy News, wants CI 75 to be amended after members of Parliament raised concerns with the biometric voting system at a closed-door meeting with the EC boss in Parliament. That was on Wednesday, and the introduction of the CI 75 was as a result of emerging challenges in the country's electoral system as recorded prior to the 2012 elections. Even though the parties through the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, that's IPAC, they had raised concerns prior to 2012. Well, the election went through a protracted 8-month election petition hearing before the Supreme Court of Ghana. And subsequently, we've come out of it, but then there are concerns that the party still want addressed. I have my guest for the morning. Kamaldeen Abdullahi is the National Nasara Coordinator of the New Patriotic Party. Thanks for joining me, Abdullahi. How are you?
I'm good.
Salam alaikum. I also have in the studio Rosalind Imoro Ayana. She is the second vice chairperson of the Convention People's Party, the CPP, a party after the heart of Nkrumah, Ghana's first president. Osajifo, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, Rosalind. Well, hoping that we'll have a nice discussion. But before we start the discussions, though, you know, there was a pay cut that was announced by the president and his team. It was announced by the finance minister in Parliament that they'll be taking, is it 10%?
10%.
10%, okay. Yeah.
And we're being told that now it's yielded 327,000 Ghana cedis. In the first place, do you think that having a pay cut of 10% for all appointees is the right way to go? Does it even spell anything at all? And I have to start with you, Rosalie.
Good morning to our viewers.
Good morning.
For me, it was a good thing. But I don't think that was what we were looking for. We were actually looking for government to cut more from all those hangers on around the presidency. For us, I think that the numbers that we had that work in the presidency is way too high. So it wasn't just 10%. And why didn't it go down? Like, legislature should have also sacrificed a little bit. Maybe other public officials should have also been taxed to at least contribute. But for me, I don't think that 10% of anybody's emoluments is what was expected by Ghanaians. We expected cuts in the numbers of people that are being employed by the president. That's what I think.
Okay, what do you make of the 10%?
Interesting. Giving out charity or giving out, you know, donation is part of us as a people. I want to say that what was announced indeed was seemingly something that would have to be related to me taking my pay and then taking out of it and say, let me give out this for charity and all that. It is not bad. It's good. However, I'm just imagining how somebody sets an exam, sits for the exam, mark himself, and come out and give us the report. I would have wished that an independent person conducts a research into the operations of Minister of Finance, comes out to tell me that yes, XYZ that was announced, indeed today, we have actually found that this amount of money has come out. But if the Minister of Finance comes out to tell me, yes, indeed he's in charge of our monetary policies and all that, or monetary system in this country. However, I still will take it with a pinch of salt. I'm not so distant.
Okay.
Down to
well, I'm told by my technical director we're having difficulty with your microphone. So we'll have to take a break. When we come out, we'll do the corrections. But when we come out, we'll be discussing, in foremost, I'll be asking my two guests, the appointments that are made by government when they come to power, how many people do we need to be ministers? The current number that we appoint, is the number the right number? And then the other appointees who are staffers, presidential aid, etc. Is that what we need to make sure that we have governance in place? We're taking a break, hope, right? We'll continue the discussions. And Kamal, you were talking about
me not being too sure with this information, and until someone comes out to tell me that yes, independent research has been conducted into this, and information is coming up for us to know. We're told prior to the pay cuts, or prior to this amount that has been revealed to us, that yes, the amount of money that is going to be cut or taken from the salaries of these officials would be channeled towards these chips. Well, community health, compound
construction.
We have directors there. We have people there. As to whether or not this money is indeed going to them or has gotten to them, we don't really know. I think it stands to be interrogated a lot. We'll only wait until pass of time for us to be able to know if indeed what they are telling us is true or not. But I just think I'll take it with a pinch of salt, as I said earlier on.
But that brings to mind whether the intent is noble or not. I mean, is that...
It's noble, yeah? It's indeed noble, if provided it's done well. Okay.
There's so many areas that you need chip compounds because you don't have health facilities. What Kamal is saying is that we have to wait and see if it will really be used and if really that money has been collected. But then for me, I wouldn't doubt it. If he says that that money has been collected, then what we have to do is to wait and see if those chip compounds will come up. They're going to be structures. It's not going to be something somewhere. We will have to see it visibly to know that the money has really gone into such. And we expect that this thing will come before 2016.
Let's talk about
with the other promises.
Yes, once this is coming from what appointees earn, let's talk about the number of appointees as we have them. For example, I remember prior to 2000, when the NPP was campaigning, led by John Ejekom Kufuor, who became subsequently president. Well, they said they were going to cut the number of ministers. The president came to office and the numbers kept swelling up. And well, he said, when you're in office, you get to know the enormity of the difficult, the enormity of the challenges facing Ghana and the number of people you need to appoint. The former president, Professor Mills, also campaigning prior to 2008, said same, the numbers swelled. Do we need a lot more ministers and presidential aides and other appointees to run our system of governance? I start with you, Rosalind.
I don't think so. I think we have far too many people. I don't know. I was looking through a list that was giving figures of caterers and housekeepers, gardeners, drivers, and I'm asking myself, what are they doing?
They're gardeners, they're caterers.
Caterers and gardeners where? I mean, they're supposed to be working somewhere. And you ask yourself, upon all this work, we have to go to Sanctuary Ferry. You understand? Upon having all these people who are supposed to be catering, we're told that in Parliament House, they're being given packed lunches. And we have such people. We have a state protocol department. And then still, it goes out that they have to go out when they're having functions to
outsource.
So what's the point in keeping all these people? And then you go around. We have gardeners. We are paying for them. And then you drive in front of the presidential palace, and what happens? You just see... I don't know what to call it, because people's homes look better than the frontage of the president's accommodation.
People are paid for it.
And that's it. So you ask yourself, why? So it's like hangers on. People are just being paid for doing nothing. And for me, I don't understand what the president... I don't know, do we have to pay for somebody to send the president tea or coffee? All those kinds of things.
But somebody needs to do something or serve.
Or
serve the presidency.
Look, first and foremost, let's look at ourselves. I keep saying that we continuously make mistakes. We should learn to be ourselves. The first point is this. You enter into a state accommodation. Everything there is almost foreign. Okay? You're getting guests from abroad. You feel so happy taking them inside that hall because you think that you've kind of
done the best.
Meanwhile, that carpet that is on the floor is in someone's kitchen somewhere. Those curtains is in someone's bathroom. What I'm trying to say is that we can look at our own circumstances and develop around it. We don't always have to look at other people. So why should we have someone in the presidency whose business is just to be running around, maybe 70 and whatnot? We don't have the money. Although we say we are a middle income country, we do realize that we don't have what it takes to be middle income. When at this stage in our history, people are still going around barefoot, people are still looking for water, people cannot access education, people cannot access health. You know, there is no reason why we cannot cut our coats just to suit the cloth that we have and our size. So I'm saying that ministers, for instance, do you realize that apart from ministers, we change the names of the ministries? Do you know how much? Yeah, do you know how
almost
much
every year. Or
that's right.
Each time a government is in
Every time
office.
a government is in office. Do you know how much it cost us? Printing. To change.
Stationery.
Yes, stationery. To change the names from just this ministry to another. Even if it's just one word, you need to change it. So all these things cost us.
Is it that, Mr. Dean, that we don't get our priorities right, and we can't just say, well, this is the country we have, these are the resources we also have, and this is what we can afford, and so we cut our coat according to our size?
Yes, I think what you're saying, I have to allude to it, and I agree to the fact that, yes, we don't really get our priorities right. If we do get our priorities right, we have a nation that is governed by laws. And when you look at the cabinet of this particular country of ours, clearly in the Constitution of Ghana, it says in Article 76 that we shall have the president, the vice president, and at least 10 or not less than 10 and not more than 19 ministers. How many ministers do we have now?
I think necessarily 80.
The Constitution tells you that, look, cut your coat according to your size. It gives you a number. 10, not less than 10, and not more than 19. I asked you a question. How many ministers do we have now? We have ministers who are sitting at the presidency, and we call them ministers with a portfolio. If you have no portfolio, then why are you a minister of state? We have budgets allocations for them. Yes, I think that we should try to streamline some of these things a lot as a country. And if we do streamline them, trust me, Roland, we're going to have not just ministers or people appointed and telling them to, you know, give in or dole out 10% of their cuts. In the first place, we could have avoided it. If you don't even appoint that person, this job for the boys' business must stop. Not in my government, not in the government of NDC, not in the government of CPP or any party. I think that we should try as much as possible to ensure that we get our priorities right, then the country will move forward. That is
your party has not been in government yet.
For a very long time.
Okay.
Yes.
But you have a more neutral position on this very subject, because when it comes to the subject about, well, whether jobs should be provided for certain categories of party members who reservedly are perceived to have worked enormously for the party when the party was in the wilderness, they tend to call it. When you come into office, you tend to appoint them, so they also tend to, they said you also tend to have their share. Is that the way to do the politics in Ghana? No. What should the discourse be?
I think that when you belong to a political party, you work towards that political party gaining power. And when that political party gains power, you work towards that political party succeeding. You don't go running around trying to grab. I would have loved it if all those people who are supposed to be given those jobs were given jobs probably in the agric sector to go and produce more food, in the manufacturing sector to go and produce more clothing. You know, do tangible things that you can say that, look, this is what we're doing to help Mother Ghana. But not to be given an appointment letter where at the end of the month you go and collect money and meanwhile you're not doing any work. That, I don't think, is the right thing. So for us in the CPP, we believe that if you go into government, you're supposed to keep as lean a government as you can. Whatever excess that you would want to pass on to your members, it is to give them the ability to work for themselves. Yes.
Roland, let's just ask ourselves.
No, seriously, can we? Because can we be real about
this?
We
can be real.
Yeah, we'll be real
why
about
do you have
it.
to? No, what? Why is it that you look at someone and say, because you helped me, you gave me money towards my campaign, so I have to give you a job? Look, Roland, there are people out there who are getting appointment letters. You have been appointed as a presidential staffer for doing nothing. You just go hanging there, no office. And at the end of the month, you collect 10,000 Ghana cedis into your pocket. Is that fair?
Yeah, Roland,
it's not fair.
Again, let me add to this. We have departments, agencies, institutions that are supposed to help in the running of our affairs of this country. We do have them in place. And I believe that these departments, agencies, and institutions do have capable hands, competent people to do some work. You see, what we ought to avoid as a country is duplication of functions. You would have someone sitting at the presidency or running errands for the president or running errands for a particular minister, and in fact, we have an officer who is substantively employed by the civil service. to do this work, or the civil servants, association or whatever group to do this work. At the end of the day, this person is left jobless, when in fact he's on the payroll. And this man who is called on is also paid. So I think that, yes, the country, we see politics as a business. We don't see leadership, okay, as an enterprise to better the lot of the people that you seek to lead.
Is that what you feel? Is that an introspective
Absolutely. I am telling you that objectively.
Or you're saying it just for the sake of the politics?
Not for the sake of sitting here, not for political expediency, not at all.
Really?
I am saying it. Look, the truth is that I come from a very poor background, which is in the northern part of Ghana, where you go to meet people who struggle to get 1 cedi to make, 1 cedi. For just for a meal. It's very difficult. And these are people.
And if you become a top politician, what do you do about it? Because you see, the point is that we've had precedents, or we're having precedents now, where people who necessarily not coming from northern Ghana, but come from also poor backgrounds, they know how poor people within this country suffer, but then they come into office or they are holding political office.
It's a different story.
Yes, and sometimes you just don't walk their talk.
That is why we have to keep changing until we get the right person. The point is that until we get leaders who think for the people, who believe that this policy I am bringing is going to inure to the benefit of the people, then we don't have leaders as a country. I am saying that we've had people who have shown that yes, we can lead the people, we are out for the people. We've had people who have come out to say that human rights development must be key, this must be key, but a whole lot of positive trends that they have put in place, but yet we are not listening to them. I'm saying that whether MPP, NDC, CPP, whatever party you belong to, leadership, when you are seeking for it, you are seeking for the leadership because of the people. Don't come to sit there and want to enrich yourself or reward whoever assisted you to get there, like Madame put it. So I'm saying that we should try as much as possible to see leadership as an enterprise to help the people, not an enterprise to enrich ourselves at all.